Hey guys, happy Sunday. It's Hitman23, and I'm doing a video this morning on another one of my quirky PCs. But before I get started with that, I do have a note of seriousness I just wanted to throw out there. I just wanted to let the YouTube community know that I love sports cards. Scott, he's been going through some serious medical issues recently. I'm not going to say, what's going on, but I know, I follow him on Facebook and stuff, but I know he's going through some serious issues medically, and I just wanted to, shout him out and just let you guys know that, when you make a video, maybe just shout him out and just keep him in your thoughts, and that's really all. I just want to keep him going and give him some YouTube love so he can get through his this difficult time. Okay, so I love sports cards, Scott. Give him a shout out and go check out his channel if you don't subscribe as of right now. But in terms of my PCs, okay, here's another one that I'd like to share with you. I call this my Getting the Band Back Together PC. Yes, getting the band back together. So all of these players have something to do with music. All right. So the first, I do have a binder that I started. I just have 3 players in it right now. So I'll just go through them real quick. I'm just going to hold the binder up like this. And you can see from the names who they are, okay? So anything that has to do with music, whether it's an instrument, a musician, anything that I'm gonna put in this Getting the Band Back Together PC. So the first player I have is Kenny Rogers in my binder. All right, so of course Kenny Rogers was the gambler, right? And he was a great country western singer. Had many hits back in the 70s and the 80s. And Kenny Rogers, the pitcher, was a pretty good pitcher as well back in the 80s and 90s. And I believe Kenny Rogers threw a perfect game, and he was also known as a gambler. So there's Kenny Rogers. And then next I have, who do I have after Kenny? Oh, I have my guitar player. No band is complete without a guitar player. So I've got Carlos Santana, my guitar player, right? So Oye Como Va, and Black Magic Woman, and all that stuff from the legendary Carlos Santana, of course. So there's Carlos, and he, again, as a baseball player, Carlos Santana is a pretty, had a pretty good career so far. I mean, he's probably toward the end of his career, is my guess. But decent career. And then my last player so far in the binder, okay, is none other than Steve Sax. All right, so Steve Saxophone. We got to have the sax in the band too, right? So there's my Steve Sax stuff. And again, I'm not going to go through every single page, but that's what I have. And that's kind of like kicking off my binder right there. I find it hard to do binder videos on YouTube. I don't know why. I see other people doing it. It doesn't seem like they struggle, but I struggle for some reason doing binder videos. So if anybody's got any pointers on how to shoot a decent binder video, let me know, because I don't know. And then the stuff that's not in the binder yet that I just kind of have piling up in a box that I call binder material. All right. I have a few other players going on here. So I have a stack of Ian Anderson cards of Jethro Tull fame. Okay, Ian Anderson. Now this Ian Anderson I don't think plays the flute, but the other Ian Anderson plays a mean flute, right? And this Ian Anderson pitches, I believe he pitches for the Braves, but I'm not 100% sure. But there's that, Ian Anderson. All right, I'm going to have a lot of leads. This band's going to have a lot of lead singers. A lot. I don't know how it's going to sound, but it's going to have a lot of lead singers. Then we have My Prerogative Bobby Brown. Right, My Prerogative Bobby Brown. Okay. Next. Then we have My Sunglasses at Night, Corey Hart. All right, remember that song from back in the day? Back in the 80s, that was a big 80s hit. I wear my sunglasses at night. Yeah, that song. That's Corey Hart. And then we've got Back in Black Brian Johnson from AC/DC's fame. Now, he's not wearing his little Scully, whatever that Brian Johnson wears, that Scully cap, but he's wearing his Boston Red Sox cap in that photo. So we got Brian Johnson. Okay, now, I don't know, some people, this band is not a favorite band of mine, but again, it's a musician. So I have Chris Martin from, oh my gosh, the band, that's how much I love that band. It's like, I forget their name. Oh, Coldplay. So I got Chris Martin from Coldplay. I have a feeling this Chris Martin's a better picture than the Chris Martin from Coldplay, but there's Chris Martin, all right. Then we can't have a band without, of course, one of the greatest lead singers or frontmen that you'll ever want to come across. And of course, that's Jim Morrison, right? We have Jim Morrison. Right? He played for a bunch of years in the late 70s and early 80s. I guess maybe the early 80s. So he played for the White Sox and the Pirates. We got Jimmy Morrison. I got an old school 50s rockabilly guy. We got Ricky Nelson, okay? We got Ricky Nelson, father of the famous Nelson twins. And then we have another famous country western singer. We got Jerry Reed, who is a very amazing guitar player. We got Jerry Reed. So that band's pretty singer heavy, I say. You know? So those are my singers, and then the next part of the band, now it's going to be, more musical stuff, okay? More musical stuff. We have a couple of guys representing guitars here. We got Kyle Gibson, and we got Paul Gibson, okay? An amazing American guitar manufacturer. Make the Les Paul and stuff like that, right? And SG and Explorers and Hummingbirds, all that good stuff, right? So Gibson, we got Gibson represented. Then we also have, and I know there's a difference in pronunciation, but I call him Raul Ibanez, even though he pronounces it Ibanez. It's Ibanez, right? Ibanez has been a music instrument manufacturer for a very long time. Since at least probably the 70s, right? Since at least the 70s, they make really good guitars. They make, they make effects pedals, stuff like that. So we got our Ibanez represented. Then we have our Jackson guitars represented by Danny Jackson. There's a ton of Jacksons in baseball. So I got Danny Jackson for the Jackson guitars representation. And then I got... what do we got here? These are getting out of whack. Oh, and then we have Randy Kramer, okay? Again, Kramer guitars. They came out, Kramer guitars started in the 70s, and they became really huge in the 80s with Eddie Van Halen. He was like their first biggest endorsee, and, he definitely put Kramer on the map. And I remember I always wanted a Kramer when I was a kid, and I had one for a short period of time, and I sold it. I shouldn't have sold it. I should have kept it. But we got Randy Kramer representing Kramer, and we got Sean Marshall representing the great Marshall amplifiers. Okay, again, there's probably a ton of Marshalls in baseball, but that's what I found. And we got Sean Marshall representing the great Jim Marshall, who created one of the greatest amplifiers ever to grace the earth, Marshall amplification, right? And then we got another company here represented who actually makes very good amps in their own right, and they also make guitars, is we've got Jake Peavy. Jake Peavy. We got a bunch of Jake Peavy cards representing Peavy. So there we go. Now he's, I think he's an announcer on the Baseball Network. And then we have yet another manufacturer of musical instruments. We have Jared Washburn. Jared Washburn. Washburn makes a very nice line of guitars. So we got Jared Washburn representing the Washburn brand. Now we have some more just generic stuff. Like, you know, my band's got guitars, right? It also has a sax, and then it also has to have some horns. All right, so Sam Horn is going to plug that gap. Sam Horn. This band is very diverse, as you can see. All right, so we got Sam Horn, and then we got this guy here with the keys. All right. The Hammond organ was big in the 60s, right? That Hammond B4 organ. And so we got Chris Hammond taking care of the keyboards. All right. And then we just got some generic, you know, a generic bandmate. There's nobody specific here. We got the singer, Bill Singer, and we got Brady Singer. All right. So, again, very generic. And then we got a style of music. You know, this band is like all over the place. We got jazz, we got 60s, you know, we got a little bit of everything, a little bit of heavy metal. We also have to have some jazz. All right. We also have to have some jazz. So we got some jazz represented. Gotta love some jazz. And then the last one I have is I got a big stack of this one, another musical instrument. Now, I don't know what band has a Hammond organ and guitars and horns and saxophones and a viola, but this band does. So we got some Frank Viola. You can see I got a ton of Frank Viola cards. So there we go, guys. That's my band. I don't know what they're going to sound like. They're going to probably sound pretty hellacious, is my guess. Little cacophonous with the sound, right? But nonetheless, that's my band. I don't have a name for my band yet. But maybe it's going to be called Hitman's Hitmasters or something stupid like that. Who knows? I don't know. I really haven't thought about it too much. But again, another way I can find, you know, the common card and make something of it. You know, make something fun. Make something, you know, fun going after and searching out cards about. So that is my getting the band back together PC, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. And make sure you guys check out 4 Collectors 4 cards today. I know they're going live in an hour. Nobody may even see this video before then because you're all going to be over there watching that stuff. But a new channel featuring Calamity Collector and who else? Pepino Man and 3D 80s Kids and James Elite Hunters. Pretty cool stuff that they're doing. So go check it out. 4 Collectors, 4 Collectors. I think it's called this station is just called 4 Collectors. So that's it, guys. That's what I got today. That's another one of those PCs. All right, and I'm going to take off. You guys enjoy the rest of your beautiful Sunday. May the cardboard God shine down upon each and every one of you. And I will see you guys soon in the next video. Later. Jerry Reed of Smokey and the Bandit fame. Remember that?